Hello, and welcome to another edition of On Scene with Tampa Fire Rescue. I'm Fire Chief Tom Ford. This month, we focus on training. Tampa firefighters train constantly so that when emergencies happen, responses will be automatic and appropriate. Let's head out to the training grounds and speak with Captain Jason Dougherty about the latest round of in-service training.
Today's in-service for Tampa Fire Rescue, we're doing what we call truck company operations, and what that involves is a variety of different things that somebody that's seeing a fire truck going down the road, that's the one with the big ladders and all that on top of it. Truck operations involve numerous different things, but one of their main jobs on a fire scene is to do what we call roof ventilation, to actually get on top of the roof, ventilate the roof by cutting a hole in it, and that way relieving some of the smoke conditions and the hazardous conditions that possible victims inside the houses could be facing. That way we can remove the heated gases and try to get in there and rescue the victims that may be inside, as well as help with the extinguishing the fire. So what we try to do is we try to get up there as quick as we can and get off as quick as we can. That way we don't put any of our members on the job at risk for any possible injuries. Lets us know that under fire conditions, this roof has a possibility of collapsing in a very short time frame. So we know that what we're dealing with is we need to get up there quickly and get off quickly before the roof possibly collapses, which is probably the number one risk that firefighters face, is roof collapse in a fire situation. We're doing 4 different evolutions, and one we do is we go up on top of the roof and we work with our members. If you look at this, it's a pitched roof. Show them when you get on an angled roof the correct way to put an opening to the roof without damaging the structural integrity of the rafters and all that. Cut around that, ventilate the roof. That way, with a coordinated fire attack with our engine companies coming in to put the fire out, and like I said, with a coordinated attack like that, it gives us the best chance to find possible victims as well as put out that fire. We also have a station where we're using a chainsaw and what we call a K-12, and what we do with that is we simulate actually using that on top of the roof as well to cut holes or possibly roll down doors or what have you to get into a building. And so we go over and we practice with those and get the tools in our firefighters' hands, because it's something we may not use every day, and get them accustomed to that. And then we also have what we call a forcible entry station, and the forcible entry, we work on prying doors, pushing doors, and very type windows, and also your burglar bars or your security bars, and able to gain access into a structure. Yeah, the K-12 is a saw we use. Typically we use it on metal type doors, and those present a real challenge for firefighters to gain access to buildings. So we use that, and we'll cut a certain type of cut in the door to gain access into there, as well as we use them on burglar bars and what have you, because sometimes those can be a challenge when we pull up on scene. Well, the chainsaw has a chain guard around it, and what that does is that allows us not to make too deep of a plunge cut on the roof, so we don't cut the rafters when we're cutting through, because if we cut the rafters, then obviously roof collapse is going to happen a lot sooner. These are the firefighters throughout the job, from guys with 30 years on the job to the guys with 3 months on the job. And we put everybody through it because our young guys are getting their hands on, as well as our older guys and gals are getting a chance to go out there and do a refresher, that something they may have, like I said, may not have been on the roof in a while, because not everybody's assigned to a truck company operation. They may be on an engine, so they haven't got a chance to put those tools in their hands, whereas we want them to have those tools in their hands in case on a fire scene we got to call on them to do that. The in-service training for us at Tampa Fire is very important, and it's something that we can't do without, because when you get on the fire scene and you got real lives in jeopardy and real tragedies happening, we got to be able to act on those just like it's everyday operations, and that's not an everyday operation. So when we come out here and train, it gets us accustomed. You practice the way you play the way you practice. So we want to make sure we practice as much as we can, so when that opportunity arises that we can go in there and save somebody's life or make a difference, we want to be able to be at the top of our game and come out there and do our best.
All Tampa firefighters are fully trained before they hit the streets for the first time. But as the saying goes, practice makes perfect. Next, we'll hear from a relative newbie and from a seasoned veteran about the importance of continued training.
I've been on the job for 4 years, and it's been about 4 years since I've done ventilation training. It was a refresher. I basically relearned everything that I had learned 4 years ago, which is a good thing to know, especially if you're getting up on the roof. It's a very dangerous spot to be in. If you don't know what you're doing up there, you can die or hurt someone else. So playing with tools and cutting stuff, that's always fun. Being on an engine, we don't have those tools, so it's nice to have something new to play with.
It's always good to revisit the basics, go back and just be refreshed on basic firefighting. It seems like across the country, even around the world, it's the basics that seems to get people hurt and killed. It's not the advanced things like that, it's just the basics, roofs falling in, improper techniques, that type of thing. So it's always good to be reminded of the basics. Things I've learned before years ago, sometimes maybe some techniques have changed. Technology changes a little bit, but it's always good, even with a newer crew, a younger crew, to experience it with them through their eyes again.
A new piece of equipment is providing a cutting-edge approach to keeping Tampa Fire Rescue's paramedics at the top of their game.
We're doing training today, hands-on. We have a loaner mannequin. It's automated, and it was donated for use by military medics in the field. And we were given one through the college, Public College of Education, professional physicians, ER, and Dr. Karuba got us one. And the difference from past trainings is where they're going on a mannequin that didn't have response. This is automated. It goes through our computers, and you can actually program what we're going to do. You can do from anywhere from amputation, treatment, tourniquet. You can do head trauma, any kind of airway, IV, IO access. It responds to appropriate care, what your treatment modalities are. He does make sound. He can talk, but depending on what your route is going, your progression, we can either slow him down, change treatment, or respond to whatever the paramedics or the EMTs, what their hands are doing. So there's a portion where he does active bleeding. He has an amputated part, a limb, and with the bleeding, of course, we know about the direct pressure, elevation, all that. If we can't control it, we go to the tourniquet. And with the proper application of tourniquet, we slow down the breathing, the bleeding. So we can check for lung sounds, and depending if they're absent, we can do a decompression on the patient, that kind of modalities. Oh, it's not even close. Like I said, you had either had other students pretend the part, and you kind of go through it. You don't have the physical capabilities of seeing what's going on. With this mannequin, it does give you that option. And like I said, it does respond to your treatment, to whatever actions you do, good or bad. The progression can be documented and carried on through the computer. It kind of applies to what you see out in the street, real life, versus a student pretending or a straight mannequin. You guys should go out, and like I said, this was originally for field medics in the military. And like I said, you get there and you can actually treat the patient, active bleeding, pulses, you can check for skin tone, start IVs, everything you would do on an actual patient. And like I said, with the computer programming, you can adjust it, respond to it, blood pressure going up, going down, all those kind of modalities.
I've been on for about 7 years, so I've actually been to calls that have been similar to this. It's a great training technique because we don't get those gunshot wounds so often. It was a chance for us to practice as we would play in the field without there being a life on the line, and time is still of the essence, but it's not as stressful as it would be as if someone's life depended on it. We worked well as a team. Time went by faster than I'm sure it actually was, but in the end result, we can go home, train more on it, make ourselves better, and hopefully make a difference in somebody's life if we have to experience it again. You can feel a pulse, you can check his pupils. It's almost like an LED screen. You can see his pupils responding to light, pinpoint or not. He actually made noise for us. He actually bled for us, which is awesome because without having an actual person that we don't want to practice on, we can have that same exact training.
Tampa Fire Rescue strives to provide the best training for our firefighters so that they can provide the best service to you, the citizens of Tampa. I'm Fire Chief Tom Ford, and I hope you enjoyed this edition of On Scene with Tampa Fire Rescue. Stay safe